Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How is everyone today?
We are good.
So, Nadia, is it on live already? Before we start, first of all, today we have two birthday lady on the house. And I want to thank you everyone for coming. Also, all the president of WWLC. Real estate leading change is the inclusiveness that belong to Ayla and Associate, Global Property Bank Technology Center, and also World Woman Leading Change. So today we will have interesting guests. While waiting for the guests, I also want to welcome the president on the house, President Princess Debbie Dineo Raputi. Hello, Princess Debbie, how are you? Princess Debbie is also the real estate president in Asia. We also have our trustee, Alice Kamunge.
Hello everyone.
We also have President Filomena Malanane from Mozambique. We have
hello everyone. Hello.
How are you? We also have President Mankole. President Mankole from Lesotho. How are you? We have President Nadia.
I'm very well, thank you, Professor Ayla.
Yes, how are you? And we also have a guest today. We have a few guests, a newcomer of our event. We have Damian, which is the office in Dubai. We also have Kate from the US. And all thanks for Professor Batembi to bring us together. And we also have President of the Youth on Infrastructure, President Bali Tuala. How are you, President Bali?
Very well, Professor Ayla. Good to see you again.
Thank our you. Partner is my partner, the biggest digital guy in Indonesia, Mr. Nusa Rangkuti. How are you? So today we have a very special guest. But before we go to our very special guest, I will introduce you our very special guest. I would like President Mankole to lead the words of prayer and also pray for Nadia. Today is her birthday, and at the end we will sing happy birthday song. So please listen to all the real estate talk show because you're going to win some money. I think from our last part also you're going to win some money, but you have to register in our Mumba. Yes? So President Mankole. Oh, we also have President Anna Leotti leading the branding leading change from New York City. Welcome. And President Mankole, over to you.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. May we pray. Heavenly Father, we come to the throne of your grace with thanksgiving in our hearts. Thank you for this wonderful platform. Thank you for the pioneers. Thank you for all those who participate. King of Kings, you be the person who leads the deliberation. You take care of each and every person with their business ideas and continue to explode this wonderful world women leading change. Father, we put President Nadia before you as she celebrates her birthday, far from her homeland, but welcomed in the land of Africa. Father, bless her. Let her have an exciting day. Bless this conference for today and all the new people who have joined us from all over the world. Bless them. Have a fantastic day. Lord, we also pray for those who are going through Ramadan. I will also ask that we have a minute of silence to acknowledge and accept those who are not from the Christian faith. With that, we say amen and amen. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, President Professor Ayla. Over to you.
Thank you, President Mankole. I miss you all so much. Now I will introduce Also, President Keketso, President Light Leading Change are here. I will introduce my partner in Africa, Real Estate Leading Change Africa. Princess Debbie, can you say hi? Princess Debbie, are you in the house? Okay. Princess Debbie. We also have Real Estate Leading Change in Europe. Anna Stuckert, are you on the house? Anna Stuckert from Germany. All right. So we have a very special guest tonight because when I was in Dubai, I was in 1 month in Middle East. I spent about 3 weeks with Mr. Jorge Sebastiao. Yeah. So I learned about blockchain. I learned about interesting technology, and that will bring us together as a community. We create liquidity. We create community that helping hand one another. I also have in the house today one of my potential partner, which is Yam. Yam is what you call your everyday money. So the reason why I invite Mr. George is because he is in the industry very long enough, and he's an expert. He's speaker, international speaker worldwide, and he's a very nice guy. Without him, I think my Middle East trip is not surviving. Thank you, Mr. George, for your time tonight. How are you?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's an honor and it's a pleasure with such a long list of esteemed guests from all over the world. So thank you.
Can you tell us about yourself? Can you explain about yourself and why are you in the blockchain? I know you are the founder of blockchain, world blockchain community. I know you are also a very big supporter of blockchain. Why are you in blockchain, and can you tell story about yourself? How does you enter the blockchain? Thank you.
Okay, so first, thanks for the opportunity to be here. My name is Jorge Sebastiao. I've been born in Portugal, and then from Portugal moved to Canada, studied there, and then I've been in the Middle East, Africa, and Asia for the last 25 years. My background is mathematics, computer science, and cybersecurity. So blockchain got created a little bit over 10 years ago. It is a technology that complemented the internet quite greatly. As you know, when the internet got created, it was not really designed for safety and for security. So when blockchain got introduced on top of the internet technology, it was created as a technology of trust. So it is based on mathematics, it's based on encryption, and it's based on public key encryption, actually, to be exact. So by being a technology of trust, it allows you to conduct business transactions and to transfer value. That value could be money, but that value can also be assets like gold or real estate, or even today, for example, art in the form of what we call NFT or non-fungible tokens. Of course, the primary blockchain network that became popular is known today as Bitcoin. We sometimes call this blockchain 1.0. So it has some basic functionality, but it's still, although it's quite powerful, it's still limited in its capacity of what can be done. So almost 6-7 years later, it was introduced something called Ethereum, which we sometimes call blockchain 2.0, which introduced some other interesting concepts, like, for example, smart contracts. Actually, smart contracts are not really that smart, are just very much pieces of code that behave like contracts between various parties. So this added some very important functionality to blockchain as a technology, which enables you to write the rules by which various parties, organizations, or individuals can contribute together in a business relationship. So these rules enable you to define things like distribution of commissions, and it enables even to create today something we have become to know as DAO, or distributed autonomous organizations. So that in reality, you can create the rules that define an organization, such, for example, if this women's organization that you have established, you can define the rules by which this organization comes together, who is responsible for what roles, and how each member of the organization gets rewarded for their roles. Other important aspects that I think is very valuable in the blockchain world, apart just from the value of trust and allow you to transfer value between the members in this relationship, is also the capability to perform business transactions and to also tokenize assets. So example of assets that can be tokenized include things like either gold or real estate. And by tokenizing these assets, it really means that the people that are contributors to these assets, they can participate as owner of these assets, but in a much more flexible way. So that means it adds both liquidity, but beyond liquidity, it also adds another very important concept known as fractional ownership. So fractional ownerships, it means somebody which contributes something as little as $5 or $10, even $1, can be the owner of gold or the owner of real estate. So they get the benefits of being part of such a community. So you can say that blockchain allows the capability of building decentralized communities around the world, similar to the one that you have here. It allows to create cohesion or integration of this human community to come together in a more effective way than it was able to do before. So this is why I'm passionate about blockchain, and that's why I go around the world, both speak about blockchain to educate about its capabilities. About 2.5 years ago, we created an organization in Oslo known as ADO, which stands for Alternative Development Organization, and GBO, which stands for Global Blockchain Organization, is part of this ADO. We sometimes call blockchain a little bit like a new operating system, so which allows you to introduce more transparency in things like government and organizations, so that so all the transactions that the organizations do are actually visible to everybody else in a transparent way. And because the transactions cannot be deleted, they can be corrected or amended, but all the corrections and amendments are visible to everyone. That really means it makes for a very transparent way of actually conducting business or conducting operations of multiple organizations. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have as well.
Thank you, George. I'm actually following Mr. George because I want to learn about blockchain in half of maybe 3 weeks of my trip in Dubai and also Bahrain. So I want to ask you questions that I want to ask is, why are you doing like what you're doing now? Like, what is your purpose actually? I know you're saying that you want to teach more people about blockchain, but what drives you to I know that, for example, like you, every day you are speaking in Dubai, you are very busy, and I'm grateful that you give the opportunity for our women organization to actually explore your experience. And you've been very helpful in the whole trip in Dubai, and also Bahrain introduced me to all the top player in the industry. But you know, I wanted to know the motive of why you are doing what you're doing.
Well, primarily it's about helping startups. It's about helping people and helping organizations to actually be successful in their own dreams. Actually, there's a good friend of mine which actually ran for president of the United States. Of course, he was not going to get elected, but he still gave it a try to actually run. But primarily it was about changing the behavior of the way presidents are doing things in the United States. His name is Prof. He's a child actor, and he's a good friend for quite a few years. He now lives in Puerto Rico. He created or introduced what he sometimes calls the modern definition of a billionaire. And his own definition of a billionaire, it's a person who actually helps a billion people. So what it really means today in today's society, when you do things for good, and sometimes there's a concept also known as blockchain for good or fintech for good, that really means you're contributing to society in a positive way. And I do believe that blockchain as a technology helps you build this community and helps you implement value for these organizations in a much more successful way by allowing them to have access to resources that otherwise they would not have had the capability. One example is by providing, for example, crowdfunding capabilities. Another one would be for enabling those organizations to transact their products or their services around the world without any intermediaries. So that really means the bulk of the value that is created goes to the creation of that value. I can give you one specific example of this because I have several projects. One in Africa is called Ubuntu. And one of the key elements of this project is known as the Ubuntu Academy. So primarily the Ubuntu Academy is about providing training and education about skills that could be soft skills, but it can also be hard skills about education, agriculture, manufacturing, or others. So the idea is that the people that actually end up creating these courses by the help of blockchain and by having mobile access and the capability to deliver their courses, the persons that actually create these content and these courses can get 80% return on the value of what they created. So that really means you're actually creating or enabling a whole new generation of entrepreneurs. So that means if you're a person that has a skill, that skill could be in manufacturing, agriculture, artisanal, maybe making music instruments, or any other specific activity. It could be physical activity, or it could be like a service activity. That really means you can now help feed your community, you can help feed your villages or your families in a much more effective way that otherwise you would not have this capacity to do so. Because today's world, the way it has been set up, there's a lot of intermediaries that actually take a lot of the value from what is being created. So let's take something like, for example, your gold artisan in the middle of Africa, and you extract X amount of gold. In reality, these are not the people, these are the persons that are extracting the gold, but they are not the ones that are getting the profit of the gold. They get maybe 10 or even 20% of the value of the gold. So if you can increase the value and the return that these people have from their craft from 20% to 60 or even 80%. So in the case of what we're doing in the academy, so that means the returns actually go to the people that are actually performing the jobs and performing the startups and those business activities. So that means we enable a whole new generation of startups, and we enable what I would consider a much more efficient, much more probably, I would say, democratic business activity. So, and that means those businesses will be more successful, and they will be able to have a much more higher impact, direct impact in the communities in which they are established.
Wow, interesting. Interesting. It's actually quite similar that what we are trying to do in WWLC. I actually have a Global Property Bank and Technology Center. We wanna, we wanna duplicate business, like for example, if I want to open like another company of Ayla Associate, I don't really have to be in Africa. I don't really have to be in Europe, but transferring the knowledge and then empowering another person, especially in here, youth and women, so they can expand, and creating the community and the ecosystem that help them. Very interesting, George. Actually, that also answer my third questions, like why are you doing what you're doing, So I also believe in kindness. WWLC is actually kindness. We are move on kindness, and we wanna change people's life. We want them to come, and then we want them to go out as a different breed of a person, because they have all of this knowledge, they have all of this network, it's just like me after going to Middle East. Now I'm like tuned with blockchain, when I started, I actually learned from Yusuf, learned from everybody, the young, the young generation. That's amazing. But considering, George, you are actually 40 years over in the industry. You started in technology like 1982. I know one lady that worked with me. Her name is Shinta Bubu. She's like a world techpreneur and sitting in the world board tech. I thought she's the longest one, but today I find you, So you are like a grandpa of technology, I think. 40 years
Yeah,
in
I actually,
that's amazing, just like my husband in real estate or my father-in-law in real estate. That's just amazing. But on your journey, can you tell me the most exciting journey in your journey in ICT, or perhaps the most compelling, the most impactful, the things that change your life?
well, I believe that the most interesting thing about ICT, or information computer technology, is that it's a technology of disruption, and it's a technology of acceleration. So it allows you to do things in a much more efficient way, in a much more rapid way than you can do in a manual way. By the way, I did start in computers with what we call punch cards. So I did saw those little square cards of 80 columns that have holes with them, and that were read by a machine. So I saw the whole evolution.
I wasn't born, George. I'm only 16 years old. I'm a young woman.
No problem. It's okay. Don't worry. We are all young anyway, so it doesn't matter so much. But the thing that I found, for example, most important is some of the interesting projects that we get involved. So let me just take one from a list of so many. And definitely it's one of those projects that I've enjoyed. It's actually a project not even about blockchain. It's actually a project about artificial intelligence. Actually, it's a project about image in artificial intelligence. So one of the big problems that exists around the world every time that there is conflict is that there is minds that are left behind for the conflict. So although the conflict, for example, in Kuwait was
I'm sorry, George. Say again. The what?
Mines, land mines. So when you have a conflict or a war, land mines. So every time there's a war, whether it was Vietnam, which was many years ago, there are still mines that are still lying on the ground. because those mines have never been removed, this land cannot be used for agriculture or for tourism or anything else because it's simply too dangerous. People get hurt. So anytime there's conflict around the world, these mines stay behind. Actually, today we're putting still more mines on the ground than we're taking away. And there's many reasons for that. First, anytime there's war, a lot of money gets poured into it. So a lot of mines get created. Some of them are of different shapes and they're improvised. So, and they get left behind. So even a war, for example, like there was a war between Kuwait and Iraq not so long ago, there are still mines lying in the desert of Kuwait, which is just very close to Saudi Arabia. It means you cannot go camping in certain parts of the desert because it's simply too dangerous, especially if it has rained recently. So basically on this particular project, what we did is we created, so the way landmines are removed today is by people walking. So you have somebody that goes with a metal detector very slowly and walks around the floor, and it tries to detect where these metal objects are and tries to position them, and then somebody comes and removes them. So what we try to do is to automate this process by using artificial intelligence. So we created a drone, quite big actually. It's a drone that carries about over 100 kilos of payload. So I can say it's like a very small airplane. And in this drone, we actually put 4 sensors. So these sensors are what is called GPR. So that stands for ground penetrating radar. The second set of sensor is called LIDAR or LIDAR. This is the same sensor that you see in the Google cars that drive by themselves. A third sensor is called spectral imaging. So these are the sensors that detect between hot and cold. And the fourth sensor was an imaging sensor. And what we did is we fused the information from these 4 sensors, and then we passed this to an artificial intelligence engine. Now, the drone only flies 1 meter above the ground at a very slow speed, like 1 meter per second. The big advantage about this approach towards landmines is that it is capable to detect about 95 to 98% of the mines above ground, but also below ground, sometimes up to 2 to 3 meters below the ground. So that really means by positioning where these mines are, then later you could come up with a different set of machine to actually remove these mines in an effective way from the ground. So this project is obviously supported by organizations like the United Nations and others. It needs to be certified to make sure that the quality of the detection is there. But the point I'm trying to say, and I think is very important, is that such a project has a very big impact to society, and it has a very big impact. Of course, it's not a project that is generating money. It's not a profit organization. However, it has a big impact because the lands that get cleared of mines then can get put back to normal use, which could be agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, or any other function that is required from them. But we can automate this process and therefore do it much faster, and then kind of, you can say, win the war against landmines. So instead, removing more from the ground than the ones that are actually currently being put on the ground. So this is one small project, but there's so many projects like this that I've done over the last 35 plus years, each one with its own interest. The beauty about information technology is that it's like every day is a new day. You never know what kind of problems that you are thrown at you. And each of those problems, you try to use a bit of old technology, a bit of new technology, a lot of creativity. So the creativity of the teams that are involved is very important. And that's how you create this new value. Let me give you another example, just so it's very straightforward. So let's take something like that has become a very famous organization in the United States known as Netflix. Netflix actually started as an organization that was distributing movies to households so that people can watch them. But the first version of Netflix, what they were doing is taking video cassettes, VHSs, sending them to people home by courier and then sending them back. Of course, this was very cumbersome because video cassettes were quite big, I mean, in size. And it was taking like 10 to 14 days of cycle to loan the movie and get the movie returned. Eventually CDs came around, and CDs made the video cassettes much smaller and the quality of the movie is even better. And as you know, the CDs were much lighter. So instead of spending 14 days back and forth, we got this down to maybe 7 days or 5 days. And eventually the internet became good enough that instead of sending a CD to somebody's home, we're actually able to send that movie over the internet because the quality became good enough, what we today know as video streaming. So this organization known as Netflix evolved from being a VHS company to a CD company to actually a video streaming company. And all this was enabled by reinventing itself and by using technology in a very innovative way. And that's really what computer technology does, what it happens to be: blockchain, artificial intelligence, big data, or any of those new technologies that we introduce. They enable you to do things faster, better way, or in an innovative way than it was before simply not possible. It's this technology that enables us to, for example, send somebody to the moon or send somebody to Mars or to other explorations that otherwise.
That's my dream from 5 years old. So, inshallah, we will make it. But, it's just fascinating. George, when I met you the first time, and then I think few days after that, I was looking at your LinkedIn because I don't actually operate my social media. So my IT person told me, like, Ibu, this is the first person in the LinkedIn that have more followers than you. I was like, wow, and I saw your amazing profile. You're starting at from Canadian government, you're working in Post Corporation, you've been working in the Planet, what is Planet Sky, by the way, is very interesting. And you're doing SGov. So you've been around the world. You also was in ITS, and it's just, you have amazing profile, over 30-something thousand people in LinkedIn. It's not easy because LinkedIn is more professional. So, it's just amazing.
Actually,
you've been in
actually, it's been very fun.
Huawei. You've been everywhere.
Well,
I
I've been very
actually
lucky.
have Yusuf actually have a little Mumba. Mumba is actually created like a blockchain. That's why I'm learning blockchain, and every day I'm fascinating. And we actually would like to propose you to be our advisor if you of course if you want, because we need people like you that have a long amazing profile and experience in the internet. And we also, my dream is to make women become rich without going anywhere. For example, like a woman in agriculture in Africa can today now sell their products or even their companies, or even raising capital, or even going IPO. I want to help more women, especially, yes, and young, because World Women Leading Change, we are like women and youth. We want to help more women so they can be financially independent. I'm sure that you can pull and sew the string. How can Mumba does it? How can we bring wealth together? How can we distribute wealth together? I know this is real estate leading change, and at the moment, everywhere around the world, like my friend in real estate, they all like, a lot of them are actually borrowing money from the banks, and it's very expensive to enter real estate market, and it's just at the moment there's a lot of problems in real estate actually. And because I am in real estate for 22 years, I still believe in the journey of real estate, and I'm actually grateful that during my where I am until I met you, in the event that is done by Aspire Royalty Investment, and it lead me to another direction of a blockchain. And I hope that it can help Mumba Finance to grow even bigger, like Ubuntu. You know, we really want to. My passion is to try to teach skill real estate, but moreover, how to help women that is probably in the village, who never even understand how to start a project or raising capital for their own business. This is my dream, and I believe that if one person think, and then another people are also think, it's called positive mindset, you know. And I believe we really can make a difference. So I'm proposing.
No, I believe
Who else
that.
want to
I believe
propose? Yes. Who else want to
Yes.
propose? How can we together make a difference in this world? Because it's important, you know.
I believe what you're trying to do is actually quite important. And there's a few things that I think are helping and will help you a lot. I've had the chance to now travel to over 60 countries around the world, about 30 of them in Africa, but also Europe, Asia, North, Central, South America as well. And when you travel a lot to many parts of the world, you see very useful and very creative projects that are on the grassroots and help a lot of people. So what you're trying to do, parts of it have been done before and they've been done quite successfully. There's a product out of Lahore in Pakistan known as Akawat, like by a doctor that started almost 30 plus years ago as well. He probably deserves the prize for the kind of work that he has been done so far. But Akawat as a project is helping young entrepreneurs or people that need what sometimes we call microfinance. So what they've been doing for the last many years is provide basically $100 free of interest loan to small businesses so that they can get the necessary equipment they may need for their business. And the thing is that they are today disbursing into the millions of dollars, 70 to $100 million on a regular basis. But the most important aspect about this project that is amazing is the more successful people that have benefited from this are actually women. Number two, that I think is very important about this project is that the recovery rate of the $100 they loan without interest to their business, and the business has 1 year or 2 years to pay it back, so they can pay it back $10 a month or $5 a month, is that 99.9% of the money actually gets paid back. So that means for every $100 this Akawat project is loaned, all of it or most of it actually comes back, which means that the business or organizations or women that were impacted by this micro loan are really thankful for the impact that this had on their lives, and are more than happy to return the original money that was lent to them and made a very big impact. So we can obviously, through blockchain and such concepts, accelerate this kind of micro loan facility to help businesses, not just in Africa, but in other parts of the world, in which impact investment is extremely important, because these are where the most growing economies are taking place. And even countries that are very developed, like the United States or Canada, the big part of the economy is actually not the big organizations, it's actually the small ones. So that means the small business that creates jobs for 1 person, 5 persons, 15 or even 20 people are the backbone of the economy. So any kind of system that actually gets put in place to help these businesses to be successful by giving them access to the financial resources, all this is important. Actually, my concept for business is actually very, very simple. And over the years, we learned that the more we simplify, the better it is to understand business. So for me today, business needs three key ingredients or three key elements. And I use the three letters of a TV station in Saudi Arabia known as MBC. So MBC. So, and I usually, each letter corresponds to something. So M is for money, B is for brains, and C is for contacts. So any good business that starts needs to have the proper finance to be successful, the access to the financial resources, needs to have brains. These are the ideas or the technology or the education or the know-how to perform the business, the skill set. And the third area is what we call contacts. And contacts is actually the network, the business development, the ecosystem. So any business that has these three ingredients in place, the money, the brains, and the contacts, are the businesses that have the most chance of overall success and to stay, beyond the years as they evolve. So the idea is to provide to these businesses 1, 2, or 3 of these ingredients so that they become more successful.
Yes. So WWLC actually trying to do that. We are actually creating what, like a holding company, a huge woman holding company. Yes. So if you are aware, there is a very huge European financial group. They manage about $4 trillion. They actually own like about 1,000 companies. Yes. So, but the concept is very interesting. They own 1,000 companies and they're actually private banking, right? And they finance all the bank worldwide. It's very interesting concept. They only have 1,000 company. WWLC, we have over 3 million member communities, because like Singapore have members, Malaysia have member, they have different, and we have 18 inclusiveness, like dumping, like we have real estate, we have 18 industry, and then we have 4 that is not in business, but 100% in like half empowerment, like lightning leading change. We have also today the president. I think I have not mentioned President Lebo, and we have youth leading change, kids leading change. We have also kindness leading change. We have defable leading change. We actually have 5 that is like not not non-business. The youth is business, so we have about 4 that is non-business. But it's important to collaborate business and non-business, because I believe that if you're doing business and you're actually giving a social impact, your business will last longer, because I believe what you believe, George. But my question, only one thing. I know there's so many people want to ask you questions. One more. One thing I want to ask you is, you are in like a government blockchain association. You're also in global blockchain organization. I think you can bring a lot of value to us to help us to negotiate, probably to give us more open the door, yes, to better society.
Sure, it's always my pleasure. It's always my pleasure to assist. I mean, at the end of the world, the more assistance that we do, the better we get satisfaction from this assistance. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. I'm in the process of helping create in Brazil next week the largest blockchain event around the world that is going to go for 1 week, where we're going to have a little bit over 100 speakers coming in over a 1 week period of time. So we're in the process of basically finalizing all the recordings the upcoming week. And then the second week, we'll be broadcasting all these recordings about blockchain free of charge all over the world. So some will be in English, some will be in Portuguese, some will be in Italian or French, basically different languages, but everything will be translated back to the English language so everybody can understand as the common language.
Thank you. We're happy, WWLC, happy to support. We are happy to support any of inclusiveness or anything that you do. We are happy to collaborate with you. We actually wanted to grow. How can we grow together? Because I know you are also in many organizations. How can we grow together as a community that we help each other? Because you know, if you can buy a ticket to the moon, right? You don't want to go alone to the moon. You want to get your friends to the moon, because maybe you can, you know what I mean. So it's interesting to have more people. Now I have many questions. Okay, number one, Mr. Nusa Rangkuti. George, Mr. Nusa is the biggest digital player in Indonesia. He's actually my partner. We are building the digital city together. Yes, Mr. Nusa. Yes, over to you. He's in cybersecurity. He's just like you. Yes, Mr. Nusa.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Ayla. Nice meeting you, George. Very interesting, and like I really feel that you can really you could really be a valuable strategic partner to WWLC. Yeah? In this case, because most of us are in property, businesses, data center, etc., etc., and we are just in the start of digitizing the land here in Indonesia, and so there's a huge opportunity of creating a whether a security token or a utility token in this case. And also very interestingly, what's this? We would really love to adopt what they have there in Pakistan for the microfinance. I mean, like, it's amazing. The recovery of the loan is 99.9%, and we're talking about like even here, of course, I mean the SMEs, they contribute 97% of employment, although only 60% of GDP, but 97% of employment. So it's amazing if we can adopt such a concept here in Indonesia. I mean, like, yeah, in our case, we have Mumba. Yeah, I mean, like, we would really like to hear from you how we can take this Mumba into a security token and also a utility token, and put it in the right exchange, right? And maybe use it as a crowdfunding token for the SMEs, right? So we're really looking forward to work with you on this, actually. Yeah, and the time is actually now. I mean, it is what's this? It is being planned, being thought of, being programmed. What's this? By various private sectors or even the government. Like, I don't know whether we can come up with a government-backed coin like in China or Indonesia. I don't know. I mean, those are the things that go into our minds now. I mean, like, which maybe you could have some thought into it, George.
See, if you're trying to create, and I do understand the concept of real estate tokenization, crowdfunding, both in terms of STU, or what we call a security token, but also in terms of a utility token. So real estate has got two primary important elements to it. One element is the crowdfunding, in which you actually introduce capital to create activity with the real estate, whether it happens to be build infrastructure like roads or other, but also to build buildings, multi-purpose buildings, could be hotels, could be malls, or could be apartments or houses, etc. So the capital helps you to do that. But the second component of real estate that is also important is the operation part of real estate, which means the capability of doing you can say the real estate operations. So it could be maintenance, it could be any kind of, for example, if you have a hotel or if you have apartments, you have to do the facilities management of the entire infrastructure. So this utility token is probably much more useful. But the most important aspect about what we call a security token is the jurisdiction under which you establish this security token. So it has to be a credible jurisdiction. Of course, there is today around the world probably 10 to 20 jurisdictions that can be used, but you have to select one that is appropriate for your business. So examples of jurisdiction that are allowed for security tokens include places like Singapore. It includes places like, for example, Thailand also already has. It includes places even like Australia, which are closer to where you are. But then we have other places that are probably a bit more remote, like, for example, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which is the UAE. We have places like Malta, which is in Europe. Then we have Switzerland, especially the area of Zug, which is also known as the Crypto Valley. And then we have other smaller countries like Estonia, Liechtenstein, that also have done an extremely good job because they're kind of like banking centers around the world, and they provide a very good jurisdiction. So the first aspect is to select one or two or even maybe three of these jurisdictions in which to list the token. The second aspect that I think is very important is to get a proper auditing company. And so the better auditing company that you get, whether it's KPMG, Deloitte Touche, BDO, or any of these top first tier or second tier auditing organizations, because this obviously is what is going to give credibility to the project. Because it's like any other project. If somebody is going to invest into, in this case, real estate, they want to make sure is the real estate still there. So if it's a building, well, after 6 months, the building still be there, and so on, so that their capital is preserved and that they have safety in the investments that they're actually making. So this element of credibility is extremely important. The technology of blockchain use is not so important because we can use any of the top 5 or top 6 blockchain. We could use, for example, let's say Ethereum, we could use Cardano, we could use others. So the technology is not as important, but definitely the jurisdiction and the approach that you use is even more important than the technology. And then you need to build a proper ecosystem. And this ecosystem will include things like, for example, liquidity partners that will enable that once you launch the token, that you have the proper infrastructure to have the token successfully launched. The third element that I think is very important is the element of community building. So how you actually build this community. And typically you build this community through things like, for example, social media, especially for, you can say, retail investors. But if it's institutional investors, then you tend to do that by private meetings and private gatherings. But if you do a lot of retail investors, then you need to use a lot of various social media. You need to do lots of Zooms, you need to do posts, you need to create content that stories that describe, you need to have papers like white paper, yellow paper, pitch decks. All these elements are important, much more important than the technology that is actually used to make sure that I've created over the years a template we can call a project plan, and this project plan is got something like upwards of 150 tasks. So that it does not necessarily mean that you use the 150 tasks for every project, but you need to at least do maybe 60 or 80% of these tasks for each project to actually be successful. And the better planning that you do for the project before launching, the more chance of success that you have for the project that you'll do. On the utility side, there is another element that is extremely important. We have several companies, but one of them is in Abu Dhabi that has actually created a mobile app for the maintenance of real estate. So that means any type of maintenance that you need to do in real estate, whether, for example, I don't know, let's say the elevator is broken, you need to change a lamp, something needs servicing. They have created a complete mobile app in which the tenant or the hotel or the school or the shop can request automatically this service to be performed. So, and this is really what is happening today. One of the reasons why cities like either Shenzhen or Dubai have become so successful is because they have created in place a complete ecosystem and infrastructure that is ultra modern. Both these cities, whether it was Shenzhen or Dubai, started with about 200,000. They were originally fishing villages. So today, Dubai is a 4 million person city, and Shenzhen is about 25 million. So from 200,000 fishermen, they've done an extremely good job at growing the infrastructure to accommodate all these businesses and this real estate infrastructure.
Yeah, well, that's why. I mean, like, you're well versed in this, and obviously you already have a roadmap in how to bring together the property sector, the services sector into an ecosystem, like you stated. So that's why. Would you be interested, like to partner with WWLC or with Mumba for this matter, yeah? For that matter, yeah? To adopt.
My pleasure, yeah, to assist.
Yes, exactly. Because we do have a lot of potential here. We have properties, we have businesses, we have communities to be financed, microfinance, so many things. We do have real assets. I mean, like, you're right. The validity, credibility, and assessment of those assets tied to the token, which will be important. That's why we need your guidance. I mean, you've been playing in the international market, and you're aware of these things. Those are the things we need your guidance in. What do you say? Be good.
No, sure. It's obviously my pleasure to assist. In the case, for example, if we take even the topic of the token, or the security token, you may create actually more than one sub token. Yes. And this is just an idea. And the simple reason for that is that in your real estate, not every property will have the same profile. What do I mean by that? Maybe some properties will have higher risk profile than others. So they should not necessarily be treated all the same. So usually investors, when they bring in the money, they want to understand what is the risk profile of every specific project. So they need to adopt the token in the returns, because that's why it's called a security token. So you have to share either some of the profits of the returns associated with running that business operation, or you have to share some of the ownership. So you can choose different models that are applicable.
Yeah, that is it. See, what's this? To us, all these things are still too complex. Like, I mean, there are tokens tied to rate, yeah, but of course they're volatile, yeah. So all these things that we need to know more, which are actually you already know all these things, and it'd be good if we can really launch Mumba by learning from people's other coins achievement or mistakes, and create one very solid, reliable coin.
Yes. Typically, also one thing that is important is asset-backed tokens, whether they happen to be backed by real estate, gold, silver, or even in this case, even dollars. They tend to be quite stable. You understand? They are not speculative in nature. So tokens like, for example, in this case, Bitcoin or even Dogecoin, which is actually kind of a joke token, they are highly speculative in nature. So that means they could easily go up 10% one way or the other from one day to the next, or even more. But things like, for example, real estate or gold or even silver, yes, they have periods where they might spike up or down, but as a general rule, they tend to be quite stable over a period of 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. You know, they might go up 10, 15% regularly, but it's not like they're jumping up and down in a very dramatic way. So these tokens tend to be quite stable in nature.
Okay, thanks, George.
Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin. When people offer me a few years back, I didn't believe it, but today it's 64,000. Some of my friends, they're young billionaire, you know, and I actually dream to make Mumba because there is a social value of Mumba is to help women to grow their business, and we're planning to launch our fund, our woman fund, sometimes in 6 months from now, you know, in the beginning of 2002. And I hope that I can be a help by creating liquidity first for the asset that I have, and to help more women, you know, like I cannot eat real estate. Yes. If I have so much real estate, I cannot eat. I rather go and invest in another company that diversified, that I can exchange the value, you know, and I have another person somewhere else, you know, and then together I can get soft and she can get soft, you know, like this is the idea actually. Now we have like 3 more questions to go. I think we have also, I want to acknowledge there is a very, very successful businessman from Lesotho that also here today, Mr. Dr. Mamfane from Botswana in Health and Science University. We have Mr. Macau, also from the Smart City, Monoro Smart City. We're coming to Africa and we're gonna going to Africa. We also have President Rebecca, the infrastructure president of Africa, who plan to build. This is the woman who want to build the Cairo to Cape Town. Yes. And we also have President Leseho. Yeah, Leseho. We have second question. So who wants to place the second question? I think Kate. Kate.
Sorry, can I?
Hi.
Huh?
Yes. Yusuf, you want to ask? Let me finish with the 4 questions. Kate.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Explain about yourself, Kate. Kate is yes, Kate, do you want to ask questions?
Well, I just wanted to make a quick comment, and yes, definitely introduce myself. So thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Kate Konopaski, and I am the CEO of the operations company Unicorn Network, which, and this is part of my comment I wanted to make, you know, it's so great to get in touch with you all, because I think we all are on the same wavelength. And so part of what we do in our network is we are connecting everyone together, what we call the power of we. And so this is just, I think it's great that all of us are connecting together. I think there is a lot of synergy for all of us in many different areas, and especially about bringing positive change to the world and helping others. And many of the different topics that you guys are talking about, we are also doing similar things with our network. So definitely we should continue to collaborate more and see how we can all help each other, help more people worldwide. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Kate. We have a lot of homework to do. Thank you so much. And we have the questions from, I think, I see so many people raise hand. Anna Leonti, yes, from New York City. Anna is a brand. She's also in my association. She's amazing. Let her. Anna is in the UN. Anna is helping a lot of top-notch people to brand. She's our president of Branding Leading Change. Over to you, Anna. Yes, Anna. Unmute, Anna. Anna, unmute. Anna is in New York
I can
City.
hear you very well. Thank you, Dr. Ayla, for the great introduction. Really amazing to connect with this guest. I have a question, like working about the blockchain really was the best topic, very current, and having the business internationally all over the world. We all, like in the past, were dealing with international banks, currencies. You probably have like this familiar for you as well. When it's always a challenge to work with multiple people from all over the world. So, and the question is how the blockchain technology can make the difference, let's say right now, or maybe in some years from now. Because what I admire about the George, our guest today, that he is able to talk so clear and so easily about the new technologies, about the blockchain. So it's like very, very easy to understand for everyone. Because otherwise I can just bring my laptop to Indonesia. We can be sitting, working together, and I can be doing the global business from there using the blockchain.
Yes, yes. We are
Thank you.
inviting all of you to Bali, and we're going to invite George to Bali too. I've been following George for 3 weeks, Anna. Every day
Yes.
I follow him because I want to learn blockchain, right? Every day I follow him.
Absolutely.
From Middle East, UAE to Bahrain to Saudi every day because I want to learn. I'm gonna go into Mumbai. We need to know, and we have to look. My concept is we need to learn from the best, the very best.
Absolutely. That's how you get better, and that's we all have a lot to share, which is beautiful.
Yes, you know, the most experienced thing. The longer they are in the industry, they'll have more experience, so they make sure that we don't fall, you know, because they've been through the fall and up and down, you know. And I think we have George, you want to say something, or we have
yes, I will answer that question. Well, first,
thank you.
The banks have been extremely afraid of blockchain technology. Actually, banks by nature are very conservative organizations. So anything that changes the way they do business, they tend to react in a very defensive way. So one example is banks have become very defensive about what we call fintech companies, also known as financial technology companies. And sometimes blockchain is an important element of that. Not the only important element, but sometimes artificial intelligence, etc. There's even today a concept known as neobank, or what's also known as a virtual bank. And many examples of this include things like Revolut and N25, Bitwala, just to name a few. In Europe, there's about 25. In Asia, not so many. But so the banks are extremely afraid, but at the same time, some of them have become open to this new technology and they've started experimenting with it. So I have a good friend from India. He's a VP director in a company known as XRP. Not XRP the token, but XRP the technology. And XRP today is being used by the banks to do international remittances between banks. So as you know, today banks use a very outdated network known as a messaging network known as SWIFT. And this network is very outdated, not very efficient, and quite costly in the remittances. So for example, if you want to send something, let's say $10 from New York to, let's say, Bali, it might cost you more than $10. So it does not actually make any business sense to do that. And it will take 3 days or sometimes up to 5 days. So this XRP technology that is being used by the banks as a network enables banks to send this international remittance between themselves. And today there's upwards of 100 plus banks, 200 that have signed up to the network. So they can send these transfers between themselves at the speed of a few minutes. And the cost of this transaction is only a few pennies or a few dollars. So that really means that this remittances can be used by individuals, but by banks themselves. So banks have started slowly to adopt this technology themselves because they see the power of this technology.
Yeah.
But the banks are going to move in this transition in a very careful way because they also put restrictions. Example, I have some colleagues that are investors, for example, in Bitcoin in places like England and others. And some banks, like for example, HSBC, have started sending notices that if you invest in Bitcoin, we're going to close your account. So you have to also be careful. So that really means some banks are reacting to this new technology in a very violent way. So by creating a barrier or by removing these people from the banking system. So in reality today, we kind of end up with kind of a 2 or 3 banking systems in parallel. You can say the traditional banking system and the more modern fintech-based banking system. Eventually, the two will collide and they will cooperate more, but I think it's going to take some time. And this time means that the more traditional banks need to be educated about the power of this technology. They need to embrace it. And that means they need to also be much more effective at spending money the way they are. So that means these new financial organizations known as fintech or virtual banks allow you, for example, Revolut allows you to open a bank account within 14 clicks. So 14 clicks means 14 mouse pushes in your mobile. So that means in about 3 minutes, you can open a bank account and you can do your first electronic transfer to somebody else, maybe many thousands of miles away. So I do believe that these technologies are the future for banking. Apart from this, there's even much more newer that are only blockchain specific. And this one is known as DeFi, and DeFi stands for decentralized finance. Now it's still quite new because it's only 3 years old or so, 4 years. And this is the new generation of financial services where the services, instead of running inside of a banking system, the code is actually running inside the blockchain network. So the code that, or the rules or the smart contract that drives this functionality is basically part of the blockchain, but it's still early. Not everybody is comfortable with it yet, but the first experiments with this technology are taking place, and quite a lot of big changes are coming. And the people that embrace these changes early are the ones that will benefit from this new technology. The ones that resist, maybe they'll become the Kodaks of the banking world. I mean, they might disappear as a traditional organization because they did not reinvent themselves fast enough, or they did not adopt the new technology with enough speed. So I think this is quite important.
George,
Thank you so
maybe we
very much.
create Mumba Bank or Woman Bank.
Definitely, you can create that. I mean, you can definitely create a virtual bank. And today, most people don't realize this.
Not only money, the asset can be company.
That is correct. Actually, today, the template to create a virtual bank is a 3 to 6 month project. That's it. It does not take more than that. And this is a regulated bank. So you can set it up in a place like Luxembourg, which is a regulated jurisdiction that enables a virtual bank, or even Germany.
Let's set up the first everything bank, woman bank. So for example, you know, President Keketso or President Juliastina, my partner, President Juliastina, welcome also. She's the Hujan Asset Management. She has like maybe 6 different industry of assets. So she can pledge the asset, right? And you know, another person in New York can also pledge the asset, and you can exchange and you can use the asset together. That's very interesting, right? And we can help each other. If one person, for example, have a problem like liquidity issues, maybe you know, anything is really interesting, right?
Thank you.
Idea. Typically, when you set up a bank, let's say you wanted to set up a traditional bank in Bahrain, your license might cost you about $1 million dinars, which is 2 million euros, and it may take you 1 to 2 years to set up that bank. Today, you can set up a virtual bank for about $2 to $3 million or 2 to 3 million euros, and you can do it in 3 to 6 months. That's the difference. So we're talking about orders of magnitude of speed 2 times to 10 times faster, and you need 2 to 10 times less money to do the same job. That's really the difference that is taking place.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the really very insightful answers, because that's how we learn. And I actually listened to your other podcast on Clubhouse, which was like very, very insightful. And I'm looking forward to also see what the online summits and then the online events what you have to learn more. And thank you for this opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure. It's my pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Mhm.
President Anna, thank you so much. We have President Keketso. President Keketso is a lawyer. He's leading lightning leading change. Yes, President Keketso.
Thank you very much, President Ayla, and good afternoon, everyone from South Africa. And thanks, George, for that presentation. I know that blockchain is often touted as a world-changing technology, and I guess in many ways it is. But the lawyer in me is always wanting to know what are the risks within that environment. I mean, we know that there's probably not much of regulation that happens within that environment. So what would be the risks within that environment? Thank you.
Actually, that's a very good question. It's like any other technology or environment. When you have new technology, the risks tend to be higher. And of course, one of the big challenges is that regulations move very slowly. And they move very slowly for 2 or 3 reasons. One is they move slowly because they're very conservative in nature. They move slowly because they don't understand the technology. So one thing that one has to understand, when blockchain was first introduced, nobody thought it was going to power banks of the future. It was only said, oh, it's a payment system or it's a new monetary system. So when they get introduced, the technology evolves to provide more services than it was originally designed to do so. So that really means regulators have to be more agile. And one of the approaches that regulators have done, and this has been done in several countries, this is what we know as a regulatory sandbox. So we have done one of these in, not me, but the central bank has done this in Bahrain. They have done this in Montenegro, they have done this in Estonia and other countries. So what is a regulatory sandbox? That means the government or the central bank establishes a framework in which they allow new technology companies to operate, but under a reduced mandate. So for example, if you open a bank or if you open a crypto exchange, you only are allowed to have 50 clients or 100 clients, but you're not allowed to have 10,000 or 1 million clients. So they allow, during the first 6 months, these businesses to operate inside this regulatory sandbox. And then they allow these organizations to graduate. So that means after they do their final audit, then the government passes the required regulations for this business to be able to operate legally. So it's kind of a cooperative effort between technology and regulations or regulatory cooperation. So this means the regulations have time to catch up with technology and cooperate with technology in an incremental way rather than trying to do it as a catch-up approach. And I think these regulatory sandboxes have been very powerful at allowing you to experiment with new technology with less risk, and then allow you to pass the necessary laws so that then the proper frameworks are in place. Of course, regulations are important. I mean, you cannot have, because when you don't have regulations, then you have anarchy. And when you have anarchy, you have complete chaos. So that's why we have laws. That's why we have regulation. That's why there is you can say religion to some extent, because religion provides some norms by which behaviors must be taken by individuals. Otherwise, it's like the law of the jungle, and that's usually not good for society.
Thank you. President Keketso, do you want to ask any more questions?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I think my main issue was really, that volatile environment and, people scams. We have scams and all sorts of things and market manipulation, which can always become.
That's why we have
common.
WWLC is community. Yes, you cannot come without invitation. So if you let's say you are you have problem, all the people who bring you also have problem.
I'm happy to introduce you. I have a good friend. She's Russian speaking, but also English as well. She used to be in Dubai. Now she's in Switzerland. She's a lawyer. Her name is Irina Iver. So she's both a traditional business lawyer, but she also has specialized in blockchain, crypto, and this new technology. So I'm happy to put Irina in contact with you. And since you're both lawyers, you can speak the same language in a more direct way. I'm not a lawyer, so my knowledge of law is limited because I'm more of a technologist than a lawyer. But it's important that lawyers between themselves also exchange knowledge, especially the ones that have become knowledgeable about blockchain. So that means the more traditional lawyers can also benefit from this knowledge transfer as well.
Perhaps we can create like a custodian, yes, George. For example, like if I decided to, or if we're going to raise capital, let's say we're planning to raise capital. I think I don't know how much we're planning to raise for a woman fund, Ibu Juliastina. I don't know. Anyway, so there is like a custodian in every country. That's why we have presidents. So the president are also involved and taking also some of the percentage of the type on type business results, but they're also responsible. They make sure that the people don't run away, or the name is not fake, or the property is really there, or the paper. The paper is real, all these kind of things, because in real estate there is a lot of legal issues in real estate that we have to comply. I think we have questions from Ingrid. Ingrid is from Russia. She's my president in Russia. Today she's in Tanzania. We also have Professor Batambi. Yes, Professor Batambi. How are you, Professor Batambi?
Good morning, everyone. I am very well. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much.
Yes.
Do you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you, Professor. Thank you so much.
It's an outstanding session. Thank you so much, Dr. Ayla. Thank you, Mr. Jorge. I learned a lot. I have nothing to do with blockchain, but you inspire me to learn more about that. And as I believe in education, I think that we need to empower more women and men, not only about blockchain, but about emerging technologies. If you allow me, please, Mr. Jorge, as you know, Arab countries, I am curious to know if Islamic banks use blockchain, because as you know, Islamic banks have the specific financial models. So I'm just curious about that, please.
Actually, there is a very good question, because there is actually several, not every blockchain is being certified as being Islamic compliant. However, several blockchains, for example, have been certified to be blockchain compliant or Islamic compliant, because as you know, in Islamic, it's more like it behaves like more like a cooperative bank than a traditional one. So typically you have things like sukuks and other instruments that are quite different, and you're not allowed to charge interest, but you kind of distribute the profit of the investment. And there's much, and for example, even when you loan money, you cannot loan money for consumables. Like, for example, you cannot loan money to take a vacation. So you can loan money to get a physical asset, something that is infrastructure based, like real estate or other. So there are several examples. I mean, one of them was actually created by a Chinese colleague from, this Islamic Chinese person. His name is Abdullah Han, and he created something called Halal Chain, which has been around since almost 3 or 4 years. But there is at least 4 or 5 Islamic compliant blockchains that exist. So obviously, if you are trying to create an Islamic compliant instrument or an Islamic compliant financial service, then it will be important to actually use one of these chains that has already been validated to be compliant with Islamic finance.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Professor Batambi, is that
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I sent an invitation to Mr. George on LinkedIn. I hope that he will accept it.
yes,
Because I
it's
want
very
to be
easy.
updated. That's very, very interesting. Thank you so much.
Yes. That's why when I arrive from Middle East, the first thing I tell my team is I want him to speak in our conference. We have conference 212 times a year. Last year, George, we make conference 276 conference. We are the most active organization by the Guinness Book of Record. Every day we have conference, so we forget about pandemic. So we have one more question, George.
Actually,
do you have time? Do you have time? You
yes,
have
yes.
time, yes? I know it's 1 hour.
Yeah,
Okay. President Ingrid Kim is a journalist from Russia. President Ingrid, she's leading the women empowerment from in Russia. President Ingrid, are you here? Hello. You're raising your hand just now? President Ingrid. We also have our trustee Datin Jalina Abdul Rahman. She's going to lead the Women Fund. She's going to launch her Women Fund, where we're gonna collect all the businesses together as a holding company. Yes, and there is an infrastructure fund. I think my partner also here from Turkey, Mr. Jamaluddin, is going to raise all the infrastructure fund, and I'm gonna release the real estate and education fund. Hi, Jamal. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, George. Thank you very much. This great presentation. It was really lovely, and it was really fruitful, full of experience and interesting. And once you realize that the new world is changed, it should be you may be a little bit late. So we are lucky that we are in kind of community with Dr. Ayla. Then we can have full of information from the beginning, with the great inspiration, with all these great people around. And I hope we will develop great things with technology, especially the blockchain is a must. Any kind of process for the further steps. As you mentioned, most of the banks, in Turkey, they are reducing all their branches. They are, resigning a lot of, staff. More than 40,000 staff they will resign, and it's a new world. So I think we are not late. We have full of inspiration and ideas with our assets, with our knowledge, and with our network, especially with these ladies. Also, George, you are lucky that you joined this conference with these great ladies. And I hope we can have more deep discussion with some specific, projects together.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's my
George,
pleasure. Actually, I was just in.
Yeah, Mr. Jamal is a very, very prominent conglomerate businessman. He has about 40,000 people working under his group in Egypt. And they own about 4 Seasons in Istanbul. So we will definitely raise capital for some of your project, Jamal, with Mumba or with blockchain. Yes, don't worry. We are big group now. We are big group.
I was just actually in Turkey about 1 week and a half ago. I was in Istanbul and I went to Antalya. We had a big conference in Antalya about blockchain. And as you know, blockchain and exchanges have become very popular in Turkey. And just in the last 3 days or so, some of the government has issued some new regulations saying that you can no longer use things like Bitcoin for payments, which means you can still use them for trading or for investment, but definitely you will not be allowed to use them for payments of goods or services. So I think there is a bit of a regulatory backlash happening right now in Turkey as a result, but definitely Turkey is one of the countries that has embraced the blockchain revolution very fast. And there will be actually 2 other big conferences in Turkey, I think is in May and June timeframe. Some will be in Istanbul and some of them will be in Antalya as well.
And whenever you are in Turkey, you are completely our guest. Yes, Jamal, to our the most beautiful hotel, the most beautiful hotel in half of the world, in the prosperous. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Pleasure.
So,
and also, I'm just also want to ask some question. I have some friends from USA, originally from Iranian. These guys are, you are in Dubai. These guys are trading, golds, and they are very fast with this kind of trades. And he has a friend, and he's dealing for big amount of money in Bitcoin because, as you know, there is a lot of scams for this kind of trade because most of the people, they don't have any specific knowledge, which is very new, and we need some trustable, bodies as Mumba to be act in a proper way because for sure it's a future. It's everybody.
Do you remember Mumba? I bring Mumba to Istanbul. Yes, the little lion. You remember?
Exactly.
I bring him to
It starts from Istanbul. Actually, it starts.
Yeah, Mumba actually started in Istanbul. Correct. I came back from Berlin trip, Europe trip, and I bring Mumba. I said, Jamal, look at this Mumba. Today, Mumba is already a platform, and we're gonna launch, inshallah, with George blessing. Maybe we launch it in July in Monaco, George, on one of your Change Forum event. Yes,
sure.
with Prince
CC
Albert
Forum.
in Monaco, inshallah, July. Yes,
yeah,
and we can raise capital.
It'll be my pleasure. Also, to answer your question, your point is correct. Usually these big deals that you hear about blockchain, where you have thousands of Bitcoins, I would say 98% or even 99% of these deals are actually scams. So it is very important to do something we know in the industry as KYC and AML. So KYC is know your own customer. So where people document who they are, etc., either as individual or as organization. And anti-money laundering is where people provide what we sometimes call proof of funds. It's not just the funds that are there, but also where the funds came from. So to make sure that they are legal funds and not coming from other activities, such as illegal activities. For example, in Africa, we had things like called blood diamonds or so, And then, of course, we have other illegal activities from crime and other. So those, when you do AML audits, you'll be able to automatically remove these individuals from any kind of business operation that you do with them.
Exactly. And I heard, for the big deals like, $1.5 billion as Elon Musk, this kind of big amount of money, we know
These are all fake. These are all fake, completely fake. So Elon Musk is not giving Bitcoin to anybody, don't worry. So is not, so is Vitalik. So these are all scammers that are using the people that have not received the proper training about security awareness, and they are preying on them to basically steal money from them, nothing more, nothing less. So yes, your point, I think, is very important, that us as professionals, we need to give security awareness sessions so that we educate people properly so that they avoid these scams. The problem is that the scammers always are one step ahead. They always come up with better ideas to convince people.
Exactly.
But I think to some extent, everybody should always have this approach. If somebody promises you something that looks too good to be true, chances are it's fake. I mean, this includes even gold transactions. Somebody comes, oh, you can make 10%. Trust me, in gold transactions, you might make 1, 2, 3, maybe 4% in the best. So if somebody tells you make 10%, chances are that it's fake. And the same thing happens for oil transactions. The same thing happens for Bitcoin transactions. So if it looks too good, you should always proceed with extreme caution, slow down, analyze all the documentation. And, even in places like Dubai, which are very safe places, safe because nobody gets attacked too much and police takes everything under control. But there's a lot of scammers around because people, safe places attract bad people. And you always have to do extra due diligence to make sure that you remove these people from the system. And even, people like myself, which are quite experts in cybersecurity, I have lost myself even money to scammers. So I'm just letting you know that it's like when you have a computer and you have antivirus, you're still going to catch a virus from time to time on your computer. You need to know what to do. So when this happens, you minimize your losses to the minimum and you don't lose too much money. That's all.
Thank you. Any more questions? No more questions on the house? Everybody clear about blockchain?
I just wanted to ask Mr. Jorge about the next summit. You told us that there will be the big summit about blockchain. Can I have the dates, please?
Yes.
Yeah,
I will share with you.
There'll be Dr. Ayla will share this for you, but we have a very big one that is free of charge. It's an online blockchain summit that is going to happen. Actually, this week we're recording, so it's all done online. So everybody will be able to assist regardless of where they are in the world. And I've invited over 100 speakers to this event. So the week after, the event will be live. So there'll be different panels, different sessions, and any of you are welcome to attend. It's called cryptoweek.something.brazil. So I will send the link to Dr. Ayla, and she'll be able to share it in the group. There is no messaging capability, nor I was looking for one where to put it, but I couldn't find it. So
no problem. And my last question.
Don't worry, I will put George as our advisory for Mumba and advisory for WWLC.
Dr. Ayla, I have one more question, please.
Yes.
Are there already successful women in blockchain? That's my last question. Thank you so much.
There is quite a few, but your point is correct. I would say that in blockchain, women are outnumbered, not because they're not there. It's just I think maybe men are more prevalent. Not just even blockchain, I would say IT. So if you go to an IT conference, maybe you get 80% men, 20% women. But I think there's a big change that is happening. Like, for example, let's take Saudi Arabia. Princess Noor University, which was started in Saudi Riyadh almost 20, let's say 15 years ago, was actually the first university to even have a subway or a metro inside the university, and is teaching something like 35 to 50,000 women, high degrees from, bachelor's, master's, PhDs. So it just shows you that there is a big push to provide higher education to every member of society, regardless. And I think, any company or any organization should have a good balance, because one thing is important is that men and women think quite differently. So when you have an organization that has both, then the organization will be more balanced, in the sense that women sometimes have more attention to detail, and they're able to catch things that men just forget. Sometimes we do things too fast and we forget small details, but women catch these small details. So they're very good for forensic activities. And by the way, even cybersecurity, I've done a lot of work in cybersecurity for the last 20 years. Usually women are much better than men at identifying flaws in the code and finding bugs than men are. And they've always been there. It's just that sometimes maybe men take more space and they make more noise. But, I think over time this will change. And I do believe that if there's a good balance between both, it's like, when you clap, you need a left hand and a right hand. You cannot clap with just one set of hands, So those will make organizations that will be more successful, because they will have a more thorough understanding of both sides of society and being able to serve them correctly, rather than just, not addressing every single problem that needs to be addressed.
For you, they're gonna win one night in Bali, and tonight every one of you, Yusuf just told me that you have one Mumba token tonight. The one who came, you have one Mumba token. Here is my president technology coming from Namibia, President Chase. She has an application called WWLC apps. So welcome, President Chase. Too bad we're gonna end up the session and we're gonna sing together a song for the birthday girl. So George, can you pick 3 good questioners?
Pick 3 good?
The 3 top questioners. They're gonna
Actually,
they're gonna win one night in Bali.
All questions were good. Don't worry. I always believe.
Need to pick 3.
No, I'm not
and then you're gonna have to sing. We're gonna sing together for Nadia, and today there is another girl birthday.
Okay, I am a very bad singer, unfortunately, but I will try.
People. 3, George.
Yes,
you need to pick 3. You forget, yeah? Can I pick 3 then?
No, you can pick. Yeah, go ahead. I let you pick, because I think all the questions are good. What I mean is that
3. So who want to pick President? Okay, where is President? Okay, okay. I called Alice. Alice, can you pick 3 good questions? You think that you understand better? Alice, trusty. This is the Queen of Africa. We have many Queen of Africa, but Alice, trusty. Yes. Alice, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
She's the founder of WWLC Africa. Can you pick 3 good questions?
For me, I was listening and I'm very excited, especially to listen to George, listening to how we can build capacity for women and how we can be able to get funding and how we can be able to make our financial base as women. That's very exciting. Otherwise, I don't have any question for now. I was listening and I want to tell John that this is not the last one he's hearing from us. We want to listen to him again and again. Like you said, you have been following him. Even right now, I followed him because I followed him right away because I've seen he's doing a lot of things. And Ubuntu from the one he's doing in Africa, that's wonderful because I think that's something we can do as World Women Leading Change. So John, like you later asked him, would want John to be a friend of World Women Leading Change because what he's doing is exactly what we want to do as World Women Leading Change. So we are learning a lot and we hope to start our financial base and make it strong so that you can be able to empower women, because we are here to make women rich, to make women of the world rich, to make them to help them stand on their own, feel strong, that you can educate your children, you can do anything, you can do business, you can do real estate as a woman without having to depend on other people. So and this gives us the opportunity. But I thank you very much, George, for that, and we look forward.
I think you meet Alice, yeah, George. Alice was in Dubai. Yes, you meet her, yeah.
Yes, I met George.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet.
Trusty Alice, can you pick 3 good questions? Because they're gonna win my resort. This resort is normally I charge like $300 to $1,500. I will give 3. Alice, can you pick 3?
3 questions?
No,
you want me to
three
ask?
top questions.
Who am I asking? Am I asking the members in the group?
Yes, just now there is few people asking question. Who is your 3rd best questioner?
Okay, one question I would want to ask.
No, today there is people asking questions, and who is the best questioner? Like there is Jamal, there is Professor Batembi, there is Nusa, there is Kate, there is who else today that asked? Anna, and who else today that asked? Yusuf want to ask, but he left. Who else today? Okay.
I think I'm going to answer President Ayla. Can
okay,
I answer
Mrs.
the question?
Debbie?
Yes,
are you there?
I'm answering the question. Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm answering the question.
My partner, real estate leading change in Africa. Show yourself, please. This is a princess.
I'm in a terrible place. I cannot. However, I've been listening. And I really loved what President Keketso said. She was really asking a very, very crucial question about the risk. And I think that was very important so that George managed to outline it, because coming from the legal side, it is very crucial to understand issues of risk. And I'm sitting here, especially with the cryptocurrency. That was an excellent question. And thank you very much for, I think most of the questions were relevant. However, this one was the most important.
Princess Debbie, can you pick 3?
I think number 1 was Keketso.
She won again, this lady. Where is she? Hello.
Keketso. Yes. And the other one, it was
won,
also,
so now she has 2 nights in Bali. This way I don't make money. Halas.
Yeah. And then the other one was
she won
Anna.
2 nights in Bali.
Anna also.
Last time worth $100, right? Okay.
Yeah, Anna also asked such an excellent question.
Who?
But mine, Anna.
Who, Princess Debbie?
Anna.
Okay, Anna. Yes. Okay. Okay, Anna. And then the third one.
Yes. I think the third one is going to be me because it's education. Education is the importance
You cannot get the
George,
No,
okay.
no, 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 no.
the
No,
Ubuntu.
no. I'm interfering now.
Ubuntu.
No,
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 and
no,
I
no.
think Nadia must win because it's her birthday.
Yeah, okay. It's her
Nadia.
birthday. Okay, President Mankole.
Yes.
President Mankole is a very powerful woman. Yes, she's very well-known family. She has about 3 to 4 politician family in Africa. Yes, President Mankole. Tell me,
For me,
what you want.
for me, for one, much as it wasn't much of a question, but an intervention was Kate. Kate not only answered something that's very relevant, but also offered and brought to light that there are other projects that are going on with crypto, and which especially people from in the sub-Saharan Africa, who the cryptocurrency for us who are not technologists is still very new. She made it even easier for us to understand. Number two is get it. So yes, I agree. The security, because in a countries like ours, we get so much scam, and we have been scammed so many times. And my number three,
Scammed by your sister in WWLC.
no, not with the
You know
knowledge
what
we're getting.
happens if your sister is a scammer? Everybody gets scammed.
And
yes?
and I must say,
You
my
are
number
in charge of 2 countries for my woman empowerment. Lesotho, and Botswana. Halas, yes?
Yes. Oh yes. And for my number three is of course Nadia. Nadia, it's not only her birthday, she's our connector, she's everything. And I think she
Let's
deserves
sing
it.
a song for Nadia, yeah? Okay.
There we
Yay.
go.
Nadia there's 4. I said 3. Why 4? 3.
No, there are 3. It's Kate.
Nadia, Kate.
It's Kate, Geleto, and Nadia.
Okay, all right. So
Princess
Nadia,
Debbie,
you have
no.
free stay in Naila. Yes, so that's my
Yes.
gift to you. I actually have a poem for Nadia, you know. So Nadia actually came in a very, very low stage of like my life, you know, and I wanna appreciate her. She came from a very, very, very successful family. She wants to mentor. She's one of the top bass graduator from university in Indonesia. And she doesn't actually need to work, but I think she loves the woman empowerment with all the women doing crazy stuff. Nadia, this is for you. I want to thank you so much. Happy birthday. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for being our correspondents. It's very hard to manage this conference before every day. Bang, 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 bang. Now every Saturday, Sunday. Thank you, Nadia. So shall we sing? We sing together for Nadia?
Yes.
Okay. Who wants to sing? George want to sing? Jamal want to sing? Or Professor Batembi? Who wants to sing?
Or in English? I can
No, I want to sing in African language. Okay,
and in
Ampo look
Arabic.
like she's ready. Go sing,
No.
Ampo, for Nadia. Halas, Ampo.
Nadia, open.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Nadia.
Happy birthday,
Nadia.
Nadia, tomorrow you must ask for Ampao. Tomorrow ask Ampao. Ask Ampao. To all these women, huh? You have to ask money. Ampao. Chinese say Ampao, huh?
Dr. Ayla, in French, please. Somebody can help me? Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire. Joyeux anniversaire, Nadia. Joyeux anniversaire. And the last one.
Let me tell you, ladies, without Nadia, there is no WWLC. Nadia, where are you?
Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate
I want to
it.
show your face. I want to see your
I
face.
don't look proper today. No, I'm shy.
You see,
But
she
thank
learned
you very
from me.
much,
If you don't look
everyone. I
good,
really
you cannot
appreciate it.
show up, man. If you don't look good, you cannot show up. We have a fine for ugly people who doesn't dress well.
Professor Ayla.
Yes,
Professor
President Macaulay, what do you want?
Now you've heard what how people sound like when they're singing over a conference call in different languages. It sounds like a whole lot of bunch of people who are not very sober.
Don't worry, I'm coming to Lesotho. I'm going to build the tallest bar in the world in Lesotho. Okay, I'm coming. Halas, coming. I will ask George money, then I will build a bar. I will drink wine there, only wine. So today, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I love you so much and I miss you so much. I've been away for 1 month. I didn't see you. I normally come. Today, I just listen because very busy with George, every day busy. So thank you so much for being here for 2 hours. Yes. So as a bonus, you have 1 token of Mumba. Yusuf said, this is a birthday gift from Nadia. You can, I think, download, try to log in to Mumba token. Yes, we will launch in July, 3 months from now. Okay, I love you all. Any message from anybody who wants to be fast and police?
Yes, I want to extend my birthday gift to Nadia for having taken care of World Women Leading Kids for all this time. I want to tell Nadia that we want to give her a treat to visit Africa, courtesy of World Women Leading Change Africa. Let her pick.
Wow, you see, you have ticket. You go to Africa, Nadia.
We'll take her to Masai Mara, Serengeti, and back to your country. Nadia, you have a tour with us. Anytime you want to come, when COVID is done, you are our guest.
Yeah, I'm taking her to Africa. She likes lion. Can you get her lion?
Yes, it's ready.
Lion, she's a small lion.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Before we close, let's pray. I think some people are having the Ramadan. I think Datin Jalina and Ibu Juliastina, President Juliastina and President Jalina is having a Ramadan. So let's pray.
Thank you so much. Yes, I've been hearing all this and learning a lot from George. And yeah, we'll try to catch up with all the new updates and everything that is being mentioned here for the benefit of WWLC fund. And we'll try to strive a very successful start off, maybe by February. Yes, Dr. Ayla.
Yes,
and we hope that this would benefit everybody in every corner of the world. Thank you so much, Mr. George, for a very lengthy information given. Yeah, together we work for this to be visualized successfully. Thank you again, everybody.
Datin Jalina is a very successful fashion designer, but she's also a diplomat. Yes, she has a title of hero in her country in Malaysia. So she has like many titles, like a royal title, so many titles because it's a hero. You know, the husband is a 4-star general, one of the highest general in Malaysia. And she's going to lead our woman fund. Yes, so any woman who wants money, we will collect all the top good project and we will launch it together. Okay. I have one question from Kate. Yes, Kate.
I just want to say thank you all so much. I really did appreciate joining you all and getting connected with everyone. And I just wanted to say, we have so many different projects that you guys are all talking about all over the world already that we are doing. So definitely, whether it's about finding people in Africa, in all over Europe and South America. We have all different connections and just general members that we are gathering with. Like I said, the power of we. So definitely keep us in mind, and let's get together more and talk about things, because there's so much in common that we are working towards together.
Kate, can I ask you, can I approach you to be one of our WWLC women?
Absolutely, I would be honored.
Yes, so now we have one more sister. We are family now. Okay, I love you all. I don't want to keep you waiting. This is 2 hours. Who wants to lead the praying? I think President Bali. President Bali is leading infrastructure, leading change. President Bali, can you lead us with words of prayer for the birthday, for everybody, also for Kate have a company also already established and quite big, actually, the number of the people, and also I think they manage about $300 billion fund. Yes, Kate. So I wanna
in just one project.
yes. So I wanna collaborate with their group so we can be bigger together. And I want you to be a part of us. I love you all. Thank you for real estate leading change. Bye bye. I will see you soon next time. Yes. Bye bye. Love and light from Jakarta, Indonesia. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
President Bali, can you lead with prayer and then with our song? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ayla. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. George. The session was highly, highly informative. We really appreciate you gifting us with your time. Can we bow our heads, please? Father, in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, we are humbled. We are grateful. Thank you for time well spent in your presence, nourishing our minds with so much valuable information. Thank you for Mr. George and his company. Thank you for his willingness to share so much valuable information with us and teach us about blockchain. We thank you for the connections that we continue to make on this awesome, wonderful platform. We thank you and we appreciate you for our dear President Nadia, who's celebrating her birthday today. We wish your blessings and your favor upon many years on her life to come. Thank you for the wonderful presidents who have taken upon themselves the role of leading, along with Professor Ayla, within the context of World Women Leading Change. Thank you. We appreciate your grace, your generosity, your love upon us, and the time that you give for us to be together always. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Thank you. Is President Leseho here? Thank you. President Leseho, George also have a young lady. I want her to be one of us as a youth leading change. I will send George number. Maybe we can have a session, so we can bring more young women to our association. Yes. And Nadia, can we see the song? Listen to the song.
We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change for our people, for our countries, for everyone in the world. Love, peace, needed in this world. Endurance, needed in this world. Forgiveness, needed in this world. Unity, needed in this world. Yes, African woman leading change. Antarctican woman leading change. Yes, Asia woman leading change. Yes, Australia woman leading change. Yes, Europe woman leading change. Yes, North America, yes, South America, woman leading change. Kalirato fella, kalirato fella, woman leading change. Kalitabo fella, kalitabo fella, woman leading change. Gotando pella, gotando pella, woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. Yes, Ayla. Yes, Ayla. Woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. We thank you, world woman leading change.
Thank you, everyone. Love and light. Don't forget to take Mumba Finance. Yes, love you. Bye bye. See you next time.
Bye, everyone. Bye, and thank you, George. Thank you, everybody.
Love you. Love you all. Thank you, everyone.